cost of living worries for Ghana continues to rise. The Statistics Service has reported headline inflation rose to 50.3% in the month of November, from 40.3% in October, 37.2% in September. Joining us to discuss further, Raphael Adediyan, who is an analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Raphael, Ghana, those numbers are just coming in. I don't know where to start. What do you make of the IMF deal before we get to inflation? Is that bad, eh? It's terrible. This is, but the deal should be encouraging, yes?
Yes, it's actually be encouraging in the fact that it also has its own potentials to help Ghana economy to reduce the level of debt burden that's currently facing the economy. So if we look at major countries in Africa, Zambia, Nigeria, we discover that most of these countries are facing debt crisis and debt sustainability problem.
Yeah.
So where the IMF coming to assist the Ghanaian economy with about $3 billion bailout fund will go a long way to ease the problem of debt challenges. But don't forget that debt restructuring also has its own risk.
I was about to ask you that. Yeah, literally my follow-up question. Yeah, carry on.
It's not a one-way issue.
Exactly.
So it has its own risk shortcomings too. For example, if the Ghana government decided to go for domestic debt restructuring, so such debt restructuring may include reducing the outstanding interest payments. And if you look at the current trend in the domestic debt for the Ghana economy, you discover that more than 50% of this debt is held by the commercial banks.
Okay.
So what am I saying here is that if the domestic debt restructuring is followed here, the commercial banks is likely to experience suffers high non-performing loan because of reduction in outstanding interest payments.
Okay.
But that's not all. It will also increase the bank's vulnerability to distress. So if this happens, we expect the financial sectors of the Ghanaian economy to perform poorly. And this may even push the economy into a recession faster than it might be expected.
We'll have to take a look at what is it now, the financial sector, how the stocks are going to react to that later today on the Ghanaian Stock Exchange. Do you think that Ghana can handle any of the conditions that are likely to be attached to this $3 billion facility?
There are lots of conditions that are attached to the approvals of the $3 billion facility. Of course, the said bailout comes under, is coming under the extended credit facilities of the IMF. So, one of the conditions is that the Ghana must implement policies or programs that enables sustainable development and also reduce debt unsustainabilities. So to achieve this, the Ghanaian economists are putting in place several efforts. So this includes designing a short-term macroeconomic framework that can help boost us revenue generation in the states. So then other area that I believe they are actively working on is on improving the fiscal prudence in terms of boosting the agricultural sector, particularly cocoa productions. So trying to solve the issue of structural challenges that cocoa productions sectors is facing in the economy. Then we can also, they are also considering things like improving the performance of public enterprises and others. So with this, I believe they will meet those conditions.
What do you make of this? I mean, assuming any country that has inflation of 50% and continues to climb, I mean, disposable income for the average Ghanaian, the rates, reaction, monetary policy reaction, I mean, this inflation just continues to be a real problem for Ghana.
Well, looking at the trend in the inflation that just came out now, about 50.3, right?
Yeah.
So we expect the cost of, the living standard to drop compared to what it was in the previous quarter, because it means that people have to pay more for probably the same level of service, the same quantity of service, or even lesser than what it used to be.
Yeah.
So, and on the other hand, I don't expect the central banks of Ghana to fold hand looking at the inflation rates keeps on rising. So it is highly likely they will still increase their hike rate. So, and also, it is important looking at the fact that the U.S. is also increasing the interest rate. So Ghana will also want to dance along with that same part, because it will help to reduce capital outflow from that economy.
Real quick, we've only got about a couple minutes to go. This Nigeria with our own debt levels, do you see Nigeria approaching the IMF in the new year or the year after, with where things are with our own debt levels? 3 trillion naira now for debt servicing.
Well, if we look at the data just released for the third quarter by the National Bureau of Statistics, we find that total public debt actually declined, although a bit, I think by around 1.4%. However, if we look at the other indicators, such as debt to GDP, we discovered that Nigeria is likely to still accumulate more debt, perhaps in more unsustainable ways. So with this, I expect that towards the end, or maybe anything like August, September next year, the Nigeria should be able to key into such facilities, opportunities with either the IMF or World Bank.
So we might be forced to get there.
Yeah, they will be for the situation will pose there. If you look at the last budget, which was we decided we have up to 10.9 or
trillion,
so. Trillion
the
of
deficit gap, right?
Yeah, compared to roughly 6% in the 2021 budget. So those are the indicators showing that we have not yet gotten to a point where we might be looking at the fact that debt is actually declining. So this one is just a 1 in 100, the situation we have in the first quarter that debt actually destroyed. To me, I think it's just a situation of 1 in 100. We should be looking forward towards how to address debt
sustainability.
Yes.
I feel like we're out of time, but I feel I should ask you about after talking about debt and inflation, outer space. Any thoughts on the agreement signed between Nigeria and Rwanda?
Well, it's actually a welcome development.
It is.
Looking at the fact that one, it will promote international corporations and also enable Nigeria to kind of benefit from exploration of exploration of space for national development, at least in the future. However, there are more prominent, important issues
like debt
that we have to
and inflation.
Debts, inflation, talk about insecurity, high logistic and transportation costs, which are even central to economic development. So we should look more internally than
externally.
Yeah.
Raphael Adediyan, analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.